Bonjour à tous, merci de vous joindre à nous. On sait que c'est une période difficile actuellement, mais on veut faire, la HRL voulait demeurer présente, rester avec vous malgré cette situation. On sait que la saison de course 2020 était cancellée, mais ça ne veut pas dire qu'on arrête toutes les entrevues. Donc, c'est pour ça que ce matin, j'ai un invité avec moi. Hi, everybody. We know it's a crisis right now. The HRL 2020 season was canceled, but it doesn't mean that our interview has to be canceled too. So here we go, and here is our first interview. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Joan. How are you?
Good. First off, thank you for joining me. But let's talk about you. How did you get to start racing? How did you start racing?
Really, it was I was a kid always touring around with my family at boat races and crewing for people when I was very young. And it was always a dream of mine to race. And finally, I got the opportunity in 2007. Bert Henderson introduced me to the Shane family, Jimmy and Kelly, and their mother Robin and father Stu. And they had a boat that they were campaigning that they didn't have a driver for a few races. So they gave me the opportunity to drive. It was called the Hijacker. It was in the 1.5 stock class. I drove it for 2 weekends in Ogdensburg, New York, and in Valleyfield, Quebec. And after those, I guess, 8 heats or so that I drove, I was completely hooked. And I knew I had to build my own boat or race my own boat. So I got in touch with Bert. And that's when my own boat came into play and my career really started.
So you said you were around boat racing all your kids' year. How many boats did you own?
I only owned one. I just owned the CS11. It was total chaos. I've driven a lot more boats than that, but that was the only one that I owned.
You said you drove many other boats. Which ones?
Oh, I have driven the F69, the F92, the CS11, the T27, the H8, and the E45 for Paul Hewitt. And in testing, I've driven some other boats too. I drove Ken Henderson's H boat last spring, and I also drove the GP777 Steeler in testing in Buffalo. Have
you ever had a ride in the Jersey speed skiff?
Actually, yes, I did. One time in Brockville, it was very, very bad conditions one day, and I went out in a skiff for some fun laps with. I was in the Zippy Pickle, I think. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive one of those though.
You don't want it?
I'm not interested in driving a skiff. No.
No. You said you drove the F92. Now I think it's your ride for the next seasons. How did that deal came along?
Really, it's well, I have to thank Al Thompson for the opportunity, but I think it was really my good friend Bobby King put in a good word for me. Bobby and I have raced against each other for many years, and I think there's a trust and respect thing there. And when Bobby had decided he was going to move along, I think he really wanted Al to move forward with somebody that Al could trust with his equipment and to still be competitive. So he recommended me for the job, and I'm just really happy that Al took that advice and gave me a chance.
So you had a chance to drive the boat early this winter.
Yes, we were in Lakeland.
Yeah, how did it go?
Yeah. It went well. The boat's very, very fast. Our plan was actually to go down and just test, and that's what we did. So we wanted to work a few bugs out. We weren't down there to try and win that race, so it was nice to not have that pressure. Just went out to get used to how the boat handles. I think the more laps that I do in that boat, the more comfortable I'm going to get, and we're going to be very competitive.
Did you ever add any other experience in other type of racing?
Just go-karts for fun. I definitely thought about racing cars and go-karts and things like that, but for me, boats were always my passion and my dream ever since I was a little boy, so I never really took anything else too seriously. Boat racing is it for me.
But I guess you have other passion, other hobby when you have spare times.
I do, and most of it's involving my kids now. I really love the game of hockey, so I spend a lot of time at the rink. I still play myself a couple times a week, but mostly it's coaching my kids. I've coached both my kids now for years, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that, watching them grow, and they're very competitive, so it keeps me very busy. I spend a lot of time in rinks over the winter time.
I saw recently that you had an experience, a funny moment, a kid that you saw when he was younger, and that now you're coaching?
Oh, yeah. So that was we did a display in at the mall in Brockville. Must have been, I don't know, maybe 2009 or something, 2010. So he was about 3 at the time. So kids would come by the display, and I'd put them in the boat and sign an autograph for them. And his mother was going through old photos, like many people are right now, being quarantined at home. And she came across this photo and then realized that, yeah, I was his coach this past winter. So he was on my hockey team with my youngest son. Yeah, it was pretty funny to see that picture. You know, he's grown up a lot since then. So I think he was pretty shocked too when he saw the picture and found the signed card. He was like, "What? That's Coach Steve." I had a hard time putting it together.
I
It's pretty
guess.
funny, actually.
I guess
Yeah.
those memories are kind of a good memory and good laugh because now you've been around the sport for many years. Do you,
Yes. Well, I've been driving now for quite a while. This would have been year 14 or 15. So yeah, been doing it a long time.
you said your passion is hockey. Which is your NHL favorite hockey team?
Oh, the Blue Blanc Rouge, of course, Montreal.
Have you ever went to a game?
Oh yes, been to many games. I actually got the chance to go to the Montreal Forum and watch. It was the year they won the Stanley Cup, actually, in '93, and they played the Detroit Red Wings. So I was young, but I've been to a lot of hockey games. But in Montreal, I've been to the Montreal Forum once and the Bell Center once. It's there's no better place to watch a hockey game than Montreal.
I think you have another passion too, playing music.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. That's something that I really enjoy. For me, I use it as a stress relief, and the whole reason that I actually started to play was to play for my kids at bedtime, to try and put them to sleep, and then just kind of ballooned into something more. And I started writing boat racing songs just as a joke, and they kind of took off, like the Valleyfield song and the Float and Flying song that I did. It's just nice to see people enjoy it, so it's fun for me,
Yeah.
and I guess it adds to the gala too.
Yes. How many kids do you have?
I have three. I have a daughter and two boys. Yeah, my daughter's 22. My boys are 12 and 9.
Um, will they be racing one day?
Well, I definitely wouldn't say no. I think I'm going to leave that up to them. I definitely can see my oldest son, Bennett. He's one of his first words, or it might have been actually his first word was boat. And he just loves racing. He loves all the drivers. So he'll be involved, whether he's driving or a crew or a radio guy, he will definitely be involved in racing. So we have a J stock here that we're working on, that the kids will get out and practice with this summer. Have some fun, learn how to drive a race boat. So
I remember your daughter testing a J boat.
I don't know if Vanessa ever got in one, but
Yeah, I do
I bet,
remember in Brockville.
did she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't that our boat that she tested?
Oh, we had your boat. Yeah, we never really got it off the ground. It
Oh,
never really ran.
okay. But she was supposed to
She
test.
she didn't really she never really showed a lot of interest in driving.
Um, you've been racing for many years now. I know you've been in an accident. Is there any one accident or particular one that scared you most, or scared you or your family more than others? Which one is the memorable one, like we could say?
Well, they're all memorable, but the worst one was definitely in St. Felician in 2015. Uh, probably because I just didn't see it coming at all. It was under a caution flag. So I was injured. I had a broken back and a pretty bad concussion. So that was definitely the scariest one. And it's actually the first race that my wife wasn't with me. She didn't come that weekend. So it was pretty scary for her, for sure, because she couldn't get a hold of me. I was in the ambulance for a while and at the hospital. So it was scary, but it's one of those things that over time you get over that. And the best thing I think that I could have done is get back in a boat. And, I have to thank Tom Huganier and Mike Weber both gave me the opportunity to drive their boats the following season when I recovered. And I had to do that for myself to make sure that I was still okay to get back into the sport. I had to bring the boat back to the dock by myself. I didn't want to end it in an ambulance boat, so we've been back now for 5+ years, and I don't see it ending soon. So something you get over. It takes about a year for me to get over something like that, but here we are.
Any accomplishment or championship you won in those years?
Yes, we won the Canadian Nationals in 2009, as well as the High Point Championship in 1.5 liter class. Won a lot of races, man, over the years. I don't know. I'd have to look back at all the accomplishments, but a lot of final wins on the HRL series circuit, and some in the APBA series as well. One of my favorites was the last final that was ever run in Wildwood, New Jersey. I ended up winning that race in a very, very competitive field of boats and fighting for lanes. So that was a great accomplishment for me. It was before I sold my boat to Tom. So it was that was a big one. It was my last race owning that boat, and we won. So it was cool.
Great. Which is your best HRL race site?
Well, it depends. There's a few to drive. I would say Long Sault is my favorite race course. I think it's nice and calm with the soft shores, and that site has potential to be really, really great. But obviously Valleyfield will always be number one, and Brockville is obviously close to me too. But as a driver, I would say Long Sault.
Okay, that's it. That's nice. What was your favorite paid job ever?
Was the Pleasure Seeker GP2 that Roger Mahan had in the early 90s that Jimmy King drove. That's why I painted my boat that way. I had the same person, Des Fitzgerald, painted my boat the same, but just in reverse, because I love the color scheme so much, the bright colors. So that was it for me.
Who's the best driver you ever raced against?
Oh, he's going to love this. I would say Bobby Kennedy for me. I've raced against a lot of great drivers, but Bobby Kennedy and I have had some serious battles on the race course. I think he's an amazing competitor. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the circuit more, because he's a very challenging driver. He only leaves you just enough room, and he expects the same back from you. So again, with Bobby, it's a certain respect that you gain when you race against people for a long time. But I have to say Bobby Kennedy. There's a lot of them, but that's the one for me.
Maybe you have an idol driver that you would like to race against, or from any time, if you could go back in time and race against your idol, which one would it be?
I'd have to say JP Lessard. I just love watching that guy drive a race boat. He was incredible. I still have never met JP. So if I ever get a chance to meet him, maybe this summer, I hope somebody introduces me to him, because, man, he is a great driver.
Have you ever failed the breathalyzer?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I have already promised Al that will never happen again. So pressure's on. Pressure's on.
I guess it's part of racing. There's a lot of party the night before, and sometimes you have to not forget to stop.
Yeah, sometimes the party takes over. There was one time that I failed, though. I wasn't even supposed to be driving, and actually Johnny failed first, so I had to go take the breathalyzer because he failed. And then I wasn't expecting to drive, so I didn't take it easy. And then, yeah, so we both failed.
Oops. Outside of racing, what is your day job?
I'm in social work. So I work with people with developmental disabilities. I teach life skills, and I run a program called Foundations, where we, teach people independence, people coming out of high school with developmental disabilities. And we teach people how to live on their own and kind of conduct everyday life in the community.
And all the situation with the COVID-19 is affecting your job right now?
It's affecting it a lot. I'm working from home, so I'm lucky that way. I'm still employed and just doing a lot of phone calls and Zoom meetings and FaceTimes and that kind of thing. I've been preparing meals for people and trying to drop them off in the community for people that are in need. Yeah, I'm looking forward to get back to work. I'm a people person, so being stuck at home is not easy for me.
It's not easy for a lot of people, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a sister. Yes, I have a sister. She's 3 years younger than me. Her name's Meredith.
Okay, does she comes to the race?
She does. She's always been very supportive of my racing career. She's used to come to all of them, but in recent years she comes to a handful a year, usually Valleyfield and Barnwell and Brockville.
But your parents still follows you all around?
I'm super lucky that way. My family's so supportive. My parents and then extended family as well. I've always had a whole group of people that have came to the races to support me. So I've been very lucky.
Good. In the last couple of years, you've been more involved with the HRL. It started with your music and the fact that you created a few songs for the HRL for racing. How did it happen that you are now the co-host of the gala?
I think that Anne-Marie may have had something to do with that. She's the one who called me and asked me. I think they noticed that I liked being on stage. I like attention, so they were smart. They called me and they asked me if I would do it. I didn't know what to expect. I went to a few meetings, and Dominic Waugh, who's my co-host every year there, he really made me comfortable, and he made it a lot easier for me to go up on stage, and made me feel like I was a true part of it, and we've become really good friends. So I think you can see that that we have that connection on stage, that we're very comfortable with each other, so it works.
And how's your French? Getting better, I guess?
It depends. It's better in the summer when I'm around people that speak French. In the wintertime, I kind of lose it. And then by the summer, it starts to get a little bit better. So I'm thinking about taking a course online to try and become completely bilingual. That's one of my dreams, actually, is to be able to speak 2 languages, because I really admire that.
It's kind of my English. In the wintertime, it gets soared. At the end of the summer, it's getting better.
Yeah, it's who you're around, I guess.
Yeah, being around, when you're surrounded with the second language, it's always easier to ease up and be more fluent.
Sure.
So now that you're a co-host, like we said earlier, the HRL series now canceled for this year, but we want to do interviews. So part of the project is to have more interview going on the website. So Steve, we've asked you to help us do the interviews. So I think you're gonna fill in with me for this job. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, it was really Mike Grandel actually sent me a message and said I should start interviewing drivers and just doing some quick, fun questionnaires and stuff. So I put it out to a bunch of drivers, and the response has been good. But then HRL, Patrick Howarth, contacted me and said, like, let's do an official questionnaire. Instead of just doing it for fun, let's make it official with HRL. So it's great. It's going to be called the Quarantine Questionnaire. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're just going to ask some silly questions, and it won't all be about boat racing, and try and catch some people off guard. So I've already done one. I did one with Patrick Howarth. So it'll be coming up, I'm sure, in the next week or so. And everybody, hopefully people will enjoy it. It's just really just to keep people engaged and having fun and getting to know the drivers.
Yeah, well, and there'll be more interview also, more basic interview, introduce driver, and I'll do some in French and you'll do more in English. So thank you, everybody. And hopefully we'll have fun this summer online. And if people have questions, or if people have information that they want, or question to be asked for some driver, I think it would be a good thing if people would send us request question, and we can try to put more stuff on the web, I guess.
No, I actually think that's a really good idea, because then people feel like they're more a part of it. They become more interactive, and you see all the other sports are doing that right now, especially the racing series with the virtual races that you're seeing online with F1 and NASCAR, and even with the hydroplanes at night. I watched one last night. So being more virtual, having people come and ask questions and get more involved is great. Thank you for doing this with me. I'm excited to be part of the team here at HRL, and have to negotiate for more money maybe next time.
Really? They giving you money?
No.
We'll have fun, and thank you very much for your time. And probably we'll talk again with you. And one thing also, I know there will be interview with, like we said, with drivers, but people involved in the sports, like maybe Didier, Michelle, Patrick Hayward also, and some officials. So we'll have different point of view around the sport, and I think that's going to be neat, interesting for you guys on the web. So feel free to ask us questions. Donc, comme on vous disait, cette entrevue, c'était une première. Steve va faire d'autres entrevues aussi en anglais qui va être ce qu'on appelle le questionnaire de la quarantaine. On le remercie beaucoup. C'est sûr que Steve, lui, va les faire principalement en anglais. De mon côté, je vais continuer à faire quelques entrevues aussi. Donc, on remercie Steve. Donc, si les gens sont intéressés, ils ont des questions pour des pilotes ou des gens, sentez-vous à l'aise, posez ces questions-là, puis on vous remercie de nous suivre. Donc, restez à l'écoute et on sera présent pour vous sur les réseaux sociaux. Merci et à bientôt. Thank you, everybody. Last word, Steve?
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, everybody take care of yourselves, and let's go racing soon.
Good. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.